Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Febreze.
It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
12 months from now, you'll either wish you had started or you'll be celebrating a healthier, younger feeling you, and Soda Weight Loss makes the second option the one you need to take. Soda helps retrain your metabolism. No drugs, no injections, no mystery chemicals, just science-backed nutrition, real food, and real coaches who guide you every step of the way. Clients routinely hit life-changing milestones within weeks. Better sleep, lower blood pressure, reduced inflammation, and confidence that feels brand new. I often say, nothing tastes better than skinny, and thank you for making me healthy, SodaWeightLoss.com. No hunger, no guesswork, just results. I know how to eat, what to eat, and when to eat because of SodaWeightLoss.com. And this January, the deal of the year. Look and feel 10 years younger for the price of one. Bring a partner, pay for one, and transform together. Visit SodaWeightLoss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com. Soda Weight Loss is, say it with me, state of the art.
Payton Manning here. Throughout my football career, staying healthy was a big priority, but bumps, bruises, and injuries were part of the game. And for me, it's not just the clinical excellence and expertise that sets a medical team apart. It's also the compassion, kindness, and empathy they show. At Common Spirit Health, healing is quality care and human kindness. And my friends at Common Spirit are teaming up with their partners to spread human kindness and create healthy communities. Common Spirit Health. Hello, human kindness.
Dan Jacobs for 303 Law 4040, and I'm here with that beautiful voice you hear on the other end of the phone oftentimes when you call 303 Law 4040. It's my lovely wife, Kimberly. Kim, I know you and I had so much fun the other day. We actually met with a couple that had been in an accident up north in their house the other day, and Randy was so excited. He's like, I can't believe it. It's the lovely wife. She's right here in my kitchen.
He's too kind. It was really great to meet him and his wife and his pets and just be able to help them.
I think it helps that when you answer the phone, when people call 303 Law 4040, it makes things, I know calling a lawyer can be scary, but I don't know, your soothing voice just makes it a little bit easier.
Well, I just want to help. That's all. And I know how to do that.
I love the holidays. I always like to wish our listeners happy holidays. Would you like to do so as well?
Absolutely. Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful new year.
And I hope you never need us, but just in case, save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. It's 303 Law 4040. That's 303 Law 4040.
Sesame Street helped raise all of us. Now it's our turn. Donate this holiday season at sesame.org because the world needs Sesame, and Sesame needs you.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. It's Reaction Monday, powered by
Rolling on a Monday. Mike Rice, Dante Gomez. Glad you are with us. Thank you for hanging out here for the next hour. Dante, you're back. Welcome back, my friend.
I am back.
Yes,
Thank you. Flew
great
in
to
this
have
morning. I didn't even know these flights existed. 5 a.m. flight. It was not a ideal wake-up call for me, but we got it done.
So your whole world has opened up a little bit. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
And not in the best of ways, it sounds like.
No, we just got to make it through the week, and then we got a normal weekend, and we're back on the regular schedule. But yeah, today was a little wonky with, getting up at 3 in the morning.
Was it a late night, can I ask?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I was with my family, doing family stuff. So no, we Probably went to bed at like 10, 10:30, so nothing too crazy. But when you're getting up at 3, it's, no matter what time you go to bed, it's a late night, I guess. But
That's right.
It was a good time out there. Got to spend some time with some family and all that jazz. And, now back to the regular life, or, quote-unquote regular life, while, we got New Year's in the middle of this week. But another wonky week, as well as last week.
So your thoughts when you found out that the Broncos were AFC West champions? I was not watching the game on Saturday. I was out with the family, but following it, I had my phone glued to my hand, right? Following all the updates and all that. And I was not surprised. I picked the Texans to win, and give me sort of your take on that. And were you following it, watching it?
I was not watching it, but I was, keeping up with the scoreboard. We're doing family stuff. But, no, I was keeping up with the scoreboard, and I wasn't surprised either. I mean, the Texans are a very good team. They're playing really good football, especially the last, 2 months or so. So, not surprised at all. Chargers are a little beat up, and, great for the Broncos. Kind of a anticlimactic division win. You go out and you have the win against a third-string quarterback in the Chiefs on Thursday night. Which was supposed to be this big, huge game when you look at the schedule before the season started. And it's prime time, and, it doesn't really have that hype as, you're supposed to go out there and probably win by double digits. Doesn't end up going that way, which, we can talk about, later in the show here, and how that relates to next weekend maybe. But, and then you have to wait a couple days, then the Chargers go out and lose, and that's what seals the deal for you. So kind of an anticlimactic division win, especially after, the Broncos haven't won in 10 years. So you'd figure the team, the organization, the city would obviously be very excited, and I'm sure they are very excited, but you don't really get to celebrate, I'm sure, the way they would have wanted to, where you're going out and winning the game, and then right after the game, that since you won, that's the, what sealed the deal. Kind of a weird way for it to go down.
Yeah, and part of that was just the schedule. I mean, you play on Thursday night, that you don't know what the rest of the results are going to be. And now a win over what will be a shorthanded by choice Chargers team on Sunday. The game is Sunday. I had to think for a second. On Sunday means the Broncos are AFC champions. At least the top seed in the AFC playoffs. Need to clarify, because the AFC champion is the team, obviously, that goes to the Super Bowl out of the AFC. But if the Broncos win, they're going to get that number 1 seed. I think it's crucial. I think we all know it's crucial. I think Sean knows it's crucial. The way he talked today, the seriousness about which he almost dismissed the division title, and clearly the Broncos have bigger goals, and this would be the second goal. Get the best seed as possible. Winning the division was the first, but now that the number 1 seed is in play, that takes all of the focus, as it should.
Yeah, and how nice is it that they control their own destiny going into the weekend, where, hey, you go out there, you win, and you don't have to worry about any other results this weekend. It's only your game. So I'm excited to see them go out and do that. I'm a little nervous based on the result of last week, I guess, the Thursday night game, Broncos-Chiefs, where, again, backup quarterback, third-string quarterback, and kind of a deflated team in the Chiefs, and you couldn't go out there and, really put them in their grave, so to speak, in terms of go out there and, Jarrett Stidham's playing in the fourth quarter, where Bo Nix is, already thrown for 4 touchdowns, and the game's so out of hand to the point where, you feel comfortable. And that's a game that you should be able to do that against the Chiefs. So it makes me a little nervous for this next weekend, facing a backup quarterback with the Chargers. Trey Lance most likely going to start there. And to me, Trey Lance is a lot better than the quarterback that the Broncos saw last weekend against the Chiefs. And the Chargers have a lot more, not more to play for. I mean, they still are jockeying for seed in, some aspects. Obviously, they are benching Justin Herbert, so it's not the most important thing to them. To me, that sends the message that they want to be healthy going into the playoffs, or as healthy as possible. But a better team, I think you could say, that the Los Angeles Chargers are than the Kansas City Chiefs are this year. So I think you still got to go out there and have, your full focus. You can't go out there and sleepwalk and expect to go out and win that game. Jim Harbaugh is just crazy enough that he can get, some backup guys to go out there and win a game that doesn't really matter that much to them.
Well, right. And the only thing that matters is for seeding, but it's seeding for the last 3 spots in the conference. So it's not really seeding for anything, a playoff spot. It's just where are we going to go, who are we going to play, and it's tough to manipulate all that. Although by the time the Broncos-Chargers game starts, the Texans and Colts will be done, and the Jaguars are playing. That doesn't figure to be a game that they're threatened by. Look, here's the deal. It doesn't surprise me at all that Harbaugh's holding the starters out. Justin Herbert has the broken hand, but you're right. The Chargers have an effective enough running game and enough other guys to where I think it might be interesting. But, Dante, I'm just going to say it. The way this season has gone for the Broncos, I'm not necessarily expecting a 17, 21, or 24-point win. That just hasn't been who they are, even against teams where you go, well, they should handle that team. I mean, go back to the London game against the Jets. That was case in point. By that point, it was like, look, the Jets, not only are the Jets struggling, but their defense is statistically one of the 2 or 3 worst in the NFL at the time. And the Broncos made that defense look really good. That's just been the nature of who the Broncos are for whatever reason. And there's a big part of me that just go get the W, go sew it up, get a week off, and then figure out a way to survive a couple of playoff games and get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see what the mindset is for this team. If they're going out there similar to last year when they played a backups mostly team in the Kansas City Chiefs, and that the win secured their spot in the playoffs as a 7 seed. I'm curious if they have that mindset of, that hungry team of like, hey, if we go out there, we are in the playoffs. And obviously the Denver Broncos haven't been in the playoffs in a long time prior to that. I'm curious if they have that mindset or of, hey, we won the division, we locked up, a top 2 or 3 seed, I want to say for sure. And if maybe they know they're, hey, it's not Justin Herbert out there. It's not going to be maybe, some other guys that are a little banged up will also maybe get benched. So maybe they take their foot off the gas a little bit and don't go in there with the right mindset to go out there and, win by the 14 to 20 points that maybe, a lot of people are expecting at this point.
Yeah, and to that point, and also what you were saying, because it was the same principle that you were talking about in the way the Chiefs game unfolded and the Broncos weren't able to create any separation on the scoreboard. And part of that was the Chiefs game plan, number one, in limiting possessions. And clearly they wanted the clock to run in that game, and they were effective in that. And when they had the ball. And number 2 is the nature of the Broncos offense that game, Dante, was ball control. I mean, they had 8 possessions in the game, and that makes a field goal magnified even more. And so, I mean, if they didn't, it was a close game. I never really felt like the Broncos were going to lose, but it got kind of interesting, more interesting than I would have liked it, without a doubt. But if they score 2 touchdowns instead of the 2 field goals, it's a much different look. I would expect the Broncos to be focused and to execute pretty well. That doesn't necessarily mean to me that they're going to go out and win by double digits even. I hope so. I hope they look darn impressive. I hope the offense rolls like they did against the Cowboys or the fourth quarter against the Giants. Are you expecting that, though? Realistically, are you expecting to see that out of this Broncos team on Sunday?
I think we should expect that. If we have high expectations for this team in the playoffs, you got to go out there and take care of business against a lesser-than team on Sunday. So I think if you want to, go into the playoffs with some momentum, I'd like to see it. I mean, if you look back the last 2 games, we're looking at Jacksonville. They lose by double digits. Kansas City, they eke out a win against a third-string quarterback. And then if you're telling me they can't beat the Chargers by, handily and a backup quarterback there, I would have some concerns as you're heading into the playoffs. I get you're the 1 seed. I get that, you're going to have home playoff games, and that's all great. But, you still want to be playing good football because, guess what? When you get to the playoffs, every team, for the most part, is playing good football, and it's not going to be these cakewalks against, Las Vegas or Washington or, Dallas, the New York teams. You got some real competition out there, and I'd like to see a little bit of momentum going into the playoffs.
Yeah, I would too. But again, my question is, do you think we're going to see that? I'm not fully convinced we're going to see that to the degree I'd like. I would love to see 34, 38, 41 points. I'm not sure I'm going to see that.
No, I'm not sure either. And that's part of the reason that it concerns me is I'm not sure. And that's part of the reason that this Broncos team in general is so hard to figure out. You never really know who you're going to get on a week-to-week basis. Is it going to be the team that, blew out Cincinnati and, blew out Dallas and played really well against Green Bay? Or is it going to be the team that, eked out the win against the Jets and had to come back from, who knows how many points against the Giants? Is what version of the Broncos are we going to get where, you'd like to think that a playoff team, a number one seed, has a very consistent version of themselves. And we just haven't really seen that this year. And you can even point to the 11-game win streak for the Broncos where I think Zach said earlier during the drive, 11-game win streak, their margin of not margin of victory, but their point differential was 77 points. Yeah, that means you're winning each game by about 7 points. And for an 11-game win streak, you want to say that's pretty dominant. But winning by 1 touchdown every week, you'd like it to be, you're winning some of those games by 20, 30 points. If you are this number one seed, this Super Bowl contender, you'd like to see them, just be more consistent on a weekly basis.
No, I hear that. But at the same time, not all of that is in the Broncos' control. I mean, number one, anytime you get into the red zone, I mean, you're not going to score a touchdown every time. We know this. I'm not saying anything dramatic. And so when your opportunities are minimized because of what the opponent is doing, I mean, the Chiefs' game plan was to force the Broncos to take a bite at a time down the field. Hey, you can march at 14 plays? Tip my cap. I mean, that was kind of their defensive game plan. And so I don't.
Well, how about the Broncos defense showing up better then? You're facing a third-string quarterback. Well, what are you doing letting that guy move the ball on you and score points against you?
He gave up 139 yards. I look at it and I go, if the standard is a shutout and, I don't know, 100 or double-digit yard total, I guess I would – I guess, yeah, they fell. But, I mean, did you feel like the defense was ever truly at the place where they were – not going to come through? I didn't feel that way, just from the eye test, as they say. Was it perfect? It wasn't perfect. It was pretty, I mean, the Chiefs were out there 19 and a half minutes. Or 20 and a half minutes.
No, and I get that they had a very, smart game plan, but other teams can have, a game plan too, and it's about you going out there and out-executing the other team. You shouldn't need a touchdown with 1 minute and 45 seconds in the game left to go out and beat that team. Again, I expected Jarrett Stidham to take snaps in that game, and that I even remember we're throwing on the game on Christmas night. I was telling my family like, oh yeah, I got to watch the game. Obviously I have to be informed on what's going on here. And I'm like, I don't think it'll be a very good game though. I think it might be 30-0 by halftime. And boy, did I look dumb when it's a nail biter going into the fourth quarter.
303-713-1043, the RamosLaw.com text line. If you would like to weigh in. From the 719, Knicks can't score 30-plus in general. I don't know. From the 3887, what does it really matter? If we go out and win 2 playoff games the same way and end up in the Super Bowl, does it matter at that point? And no, it doesn't. I don't think it does if you end up in the Super Bowl. And I know what the argument is. Well, look at what the 49ers offense did and is doing the last few games, if they're the representative. Look at what the Bears offense has been doing, really picking it up, or the Rams offense, or the Seahawks offense, for that matter, especially when they played the Rams. And I get all that, but Dante, here's what I keep coming back to with this Broncos team. They find a way to win. It's very rarely pretty, and yet it's effective. Someone's going to have to really help me twist my brain around itself to somehow figure out that a 13-3 record and a chance to win at home to secure the number one seed is is a bad season. And I'm overstating it a little bit, granted, but just because it hasn't been what you were describing against Kansas City, and I wanted to see it. I wanted to see a more fluid offense, a more quick strike, more shots down the field. It's not what they got defensively, and so Bo took what was there. But this Broncos team, that just hasn't been the way the season has unfolded.
No, and I get that. That's not the way it's been, but I think most Super Bowl winning teams have that in their, belt of, last year, the Eagles, they go out there and, put up points on almost everybody. We saw that in the NFC Championship. They poured it on Washington. I think it was like 45-14, something like that was the final. And I just don't know if the Broncos have that same capability of blowing a team out, blowing out a good team like that. I just don't know if that's in their, toolbox right now. And I would like to see that if this team is who they think they are and who Broncos country thinks they are in terms of Super Bowl contender, I think it's important that you're able to do that.
Even in the playoffs? I mean, you're going to expect a blowout in a playoff
No, I'm not
game?
expecting a blowout, but I think if you blow out a backup quarterback that can show signs of like, hey, we're capable of doing this, and that means we're playing good football at the right time of year. I just don't know if the last 2 weeks of Broncos football has really impressed me to the point of like, yeah, I'm picking them to go out and win the Super Bowl.
Okay, and that's fair. I get that because there have been moments where you go, ooh, really? What does that say about the AFC, though? Who is that team? To me, there's not that team. There's not that team in the AFC that says, all right, that's the team. I mean, the Broncos are going to be the team to beat if they secure the number 1 seed because they're going to have everything at home as long as they're in it. And that, to me, by default, makes them the team to beat. But even in how a team is playing, you go right down the list, Dante. You tell me, if I had to
think New England's playing pretty well.
Against that schedule?
It's the schedule.
They beat the Jets.
They beat the Jets, but prior to that, they beat the Ravens. And the Ravens are, battling for a playoff.
They're
spot.
500.
I get the Ravens aren't that good. I know, and that's part of it, the resume for the Patriots. I think they've beaten one team that's currently above 500. So, that goes into it. But, they only lost by 4 to the Bills. And the Bills, played pretty well in that game, 35-31 to beat the Patriots there. So, I just think I would say they're playing better football at the moment than what the Broncos have been doing.
Who's playing the best football in the AFC right now? The top 3, 1, 2, 3. Just by the eye test for you.
I would say Jacksonville, New England, Houston.
I think those teams would all, to me, probably the way they're playing now, it'd be close with the Broncos and the Patriots. I mean, putting up 40 whatever against the Jets.
The Broncos put up 13 against the Jets.
That's apples to oranges. We both know
it's the same team that we're talking about that are facing.
No, the Jets do not have the same defense that they did. They made a couple deals. They don't have Sauce Gardner. They don't have Quinnen Williams. They don't have the hope of being in the early to middle part of a season when things matter more. I mean, if you're telling me that the Jets players, even had they had Williams and Gardner yesterday and been in the exact same situation with the standings, I got to push back on you a little bit. From an attitude standpoint, I don't think it would have been the same at all. I just don't.
I can agree with you there that, it's a different mindset of the team. They've kind of given up at this point. It's the end of the year. Nothing really to play for compared to middle of the year. There's still somewhat hope, and there's still, you want to, play for, building something into next year even. I get that it's not the same team, but I would say those results are drastically different for it being against technically the same team.
Of course. Yes, the Broncos were fortunate to win that game against the Jets. And I give you the fact that they made a statistically bad Jets defense at the time look pretty darn good. Look, this is not I love what Drake May is doing, has done, and will be doing for many years in the NFL if he stays healthy. I think he's a tremendous young quarterback. I think he's shown to be a terrific passer. I think he has shown to be able to move the football, score points, and that's a big reason why the Patriots are now 13-3 after being lost in the wilderness after Tom Brady left.
No, absolutely. And I guess this is a better question for you then. Do you believe that momentum matters going into the playoffs. Do you think that is an aspect of trying to go out and win a Super Bowl?
I do, but I think my perspective on momentum would just be a longer body of work. The whole season. The Broncos have been in now, they've played 16, they've been in 13 one-possession games, and they found a way to win all but 2. They're the loss to the Chargers, loss to the Colts on the final play. The Jacksonville game was not a 2-possession game. That was a bad loss. I look at that and I go, that means something to me. So does the body of work and the ability to find a way to win, and especially if the defense can kind of regain some of the form that I think it has lost in recent weeks, that would really bode well in my mind.
And I agree, and that's what I'd like to see out of this defense this weekend against a backup quarterback. I get it. Trey Lance was a high draft pick. I actually watched a decent amount of him in the preseason. Was pretty good. Put up some points for this Chargers offense. So I get he's not, chopped liver, but it's still a backup quarterback that's not a NFL playoff caliber quarterback, and I'd like to see this defense treat him like that.
So if the Broncos, let's just say they ho-hum their way to a win. Maybe it's 24-13. Maybe it's 20-6 or 20-10, where the Chargers they're in the game, but they're not really truly threatening to win. Does that render your opinion about the Broncos' first playoff game, does that make you more nervous?
Yes.
About their first playoff?
It does. It does. I would like to see this offense click, more than what we've seen lately. And I think that would be important going into the playoffs of, having an equal run game, pass game, all the above. Bo Nix playing well, similar to what we saw in the Green Bay game. I think if the Green Bay game was Week 18 and that's the version we saw, I think you'd see a lot of people picking the Broncos to go out and win the Super Bowl. And what you're describing, I don't think we're going to see that if it's 20-11 in Week 18 against the Chargers.
So what if it's like 31-21, where the Chargers offensively behind a backup quarterback, and who knows what other frontline players, starters or main backups on the 2 deep play or don't play. We don't know yet. We just know Herbert's not playing. I would imagine a lot of the starters wouldn't be playing, but because we don't know, and we're guessing here on a Monday. But if it's 31-21, where the defense is like, wait a minute, that's a little bit shaky, but the offense looks like it's in a better flow, kind of along the lines of the Green Bay game that you just referenced, would that make you feel nervous?
That would make me feel better than the alternative. Okay. I'd like to see the offense click. I think that's what's most important for me. The defense has mostly shown up when they needed to, obviously the Jacksonville game aside, but the defense has really, stepped up in big moments. I have less worries about them and what they can be. I think the offense has shown, characteristics of really high and really low throughout the year, and not as much consistency as what I've seen from the defense.
All right, Broncos and Chargers continuing the conversation on Denver Sports Tonight next.
Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at Denver Sports 1043 to stay up to date on all your local teams. Denver Sports 1043. The Fan.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-771-1300. That's 800-771-1300.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Charlie's battery is struggling to start. Not ideal before the tailgate, so he goes to AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone,
where a friendly AutoZoner tests his battery for free. Looks like he needs a new one, so he gets a Duralast battery.
Have fun and stay warm.
And he makes it to the tailgate early enough to get his favorite spot. Free battery testing and charging. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Hey Broncos country, it's Terrell Davis here. You know, in the game of life, our most valuable asset is our health.
At Fitness Gallery, we have deals everywhere, up to 50% off. Visit one of Fitness Gallery's 7 convenient locations from Colorado Springs to Fort Collins. We have you covered.
Catch Telestrator Tuesday weekly on Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth, where Stink or Stoke dive into the past weekend's games with a coach's eye, using insights into what went right and wrong on critical plays. Telestrator Tuesdays, powered by Colorado Credit Union. Love where you live, love where you bank.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-897-4400. That's 800-897-4400.
In today's fast-moving job market, staying ahead means keeping your skills sharp. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we help keep your capabilities cutting edge with our skills-based education programs designed to move your career forward. Explore more than 135 degrees and certificates in business, cybersecurity, and more. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start January 7th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
As the year winds down, Groove Toyota is helping you gear up for the road ahead. And right now, Groove Toyota has stocked over 35 used vehicles under $10,000. Great picks, great value, and perfect for Colorado drivers who want more without overspending. And with Toyotathon in full swing, it's the easiest time of the year to upgrade your lineup with a pre-owned Toyota or another solid used option before the year closes out. Finish the year strong with Groove Toyota.
On Broadway in Inglewood or online at GrooveToyota.com.
Everybody loves the season of giving, but now the season of paying for it is upon us. That not-so-wonderful time of the year when millions of Americans open their credit card statements, stare in horror at the balance, and resolve then and there to find new ways to save money. If you're among those Americans, why not start by cutting your wireless bill in half right now with Pure Talk's Saver Plan? It's easy. You'll get unlimited talk, text, and 3 gigs of high-speed data on a super-fast, nationwide 5G network for just $20 a month. Just dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Ho, ho, ho! And if you're active or former military or a first responder, you'll save an additional 20% every single month. That's pound 250. Say Mike Rowe for the gift that keeps on saving from America's wireless company. Pure Talk.
Download to see if you qualify for Albert Instant Advance. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription is required for Instant Advance. Please see the Albert app or albert.com for subscription pricing. Subscriptions can be canceled at any time.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? You can get up to a $1,000 advance fast to pay for car repairs, bills, rent, groceries, whatever you need. Plus, Albert can help you find ways to save and give you a custom budget to actually grow your money.
Albert can get me up to $1,000?
Exactly. But they do more than get you up to $1,000. Albert is your financial assistant, helping you budget, save, and spotting you money in a pinch.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code PLAN to get up to $1,000 for your bills, rent, groceries, and more. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code PLAN to get up to $1,000. Use code PLAN to get up to $1,000.
It's Reaction Monday, powered by Silter Har Motors. Here's Denver Sports Tonight.
Mike and Dante on this Reaction Monday. Broncos, of course, playing back on Thursday on Christmas. 303-713-1043 on the RamosLaw.com text line. We've got to get to a couple of these here. Matthew weighs in. Wins only matter. Our coach doesn't care about analytics or how it's won. The fact we are talking about a Super Bowl in Bo Nix's second year is so great, and we still have work that needs to be done as a team. Are you on Team Matthew or not so much?
I get that it's great that we're talking about Super Bowl and Bo Nix's second year, but I mean, you see the schedule for the Broncos next year, and you start thinking like, hey, this might be the year to try to get it done. Next year they're going to have, obviously all their regular divisional opponents, but on top of that, you're adding the Bills, the Rams, the Seahawks, the 49ers, AFC North champion and AFC South champion, whether that's Houston or Jacksonville. So they're going to have a tougher, road next year. It's not going to be all these bad quarterbacks that they face. And I'm not saying they face no good teams, but I just think the stat I saw, or the projection I saw, is that they're going to face 10 playoff teams next year during the regular season. So I think they should try to take advantage of, I get that it's year 2, but the Bengals went to the Super Bowl in year 2 of Joe Burrow, and they haven't really sniffed the Super Bowl since. So I think you got to try to take advantage while you're here.
Right, and I think they're going to try.
No, obviously they're going to try.
I want you to enjoy the moment, though, Dante, before you tell me that the Broncos it's going to be tougher to get back. I don't know. I mean, smell the roses a little bit. It really has been remarkable, though, in that respect. And look, we both picked. No, wait, you picked 12-5? You switched on me.
I switched on you, but it actually wasn't switching on you. I had 12-5 the whole time. I just didn't count right.
I picked 11. I like to give you a hard time about it. That was before the year, of course. This has been a remarkable season. And I have to go back and find the text on the RamosLaw.com text line. I will. But the texter, the point was, look, this is just who the Broncos are. And I agree. They're a team that has often played to the level of competition, very good at times, not so good against teams where you go, come on, what's the deal? And yet they found ways to win games. And I've been saying it now for, 6 weeks, maybe longer. What quality would you rather have with your football team? What would be a higher priority than simply finding a way to win that week? Now, it's been sustainable. I don't know. Does that mean that they're going to go win a Super Bowl? No. Other teams are talented. Other teams have shown that they can beat the Broncos and that they're not invincible. Not that any of us thought they were. But, Dante, you're right. They need to take advantage of this opportunity, and they're on the brink of doing so.
No, they are. They are. I just like to see them, again, play a little better going into the playoffs. I just haven't really been inspired by them the last 2 weeks. I think, again, if we're talking about, hey, it's great you won the division. Hey, it's great you're, maybe going to host a playoff game, or you're going to host a playoff game, maybe 2. Great. But if we're talking about Super Bowl aspirations, I just don't necessarily feel that way about this team the way they've been playing.
So you feel like the Jaguars, Patriots, and Texans
third team
are all have a better shot to go to the Super Bowl based on how they're playing right now?
Based on how they're playing, yes, but I think this Broncos team actually has a higher ceiling than all of those teams. I think when they play their best football, I know, and I guess that's talking out, both sides of my mouth here, but I think when they play their best football, they are better than all of those 3 teams. But I just want to see them play their best football more. I think that's what I'm getting at.
No, that's fair. From the 6246 on the RamosLaw.com text line, from a longtime fan, don't care about style points when it comes to wins. Just win. Go Broncos. I mean, there's truth to that, too. That's what makes this Broncos team so fascinating to me this year, is that if you were to take the course of a season, and I were to tell you, Dante, they're going to be 11-2 in one-score games. They're going to lose 2 games on a field goal on the final play, one of which was a do-over because of a questionable penalty. I'm talking about the Colts game. And they'd really only be thoroughly outplayed in one half of a game they lost, which was the Jacksonville game. It was a tie game early in the third quarter, and then the Jags outplayed them from there. I would have said there's no way. I would not have seen that. There's no way I could have predicted this. And from that standpoint, I'm really, really grateful that they do have this opportunity. And I'm also of the same mind that once you have an opportunity, that's the time to take advantage of it. It's that old, and we've talked about it on this show, it's that old saying, you win, let's say you win $2,000 at your favorite casino, whatever game you like, and you say, well, that's house money. Yeah, but you can walk out of the casino with that money in your pocket. So it's that kind of opportunity. The Broncos have that opportunity. Now it's going to be fun to see if they can take advantage of it, and I have a good feeling that they're not going to be overmatched in the process, okay? I don't know how it's going to turn out. I'm hopeful. I know they've played poorly enough at times to lay an egg at an inopportune moment, and I know they've played really, really well when they've had to be able to look impressive in winning games.
No, yes, and I completely agree with all of that, but yeah, they just frustrate me, I guess, is how I would put it, because I know that there's so much potential with this team, and they just don't really realize it on a week-to-week basis. But you are right. The best quality in a team is going out and winning games, but it feels like at some point a one-score game's not going to go their way. You know, they've had so many in a row that, you know, you're playing with fire a little bit, that, you know, eventually the other team is going to make some magic happen. It's not always going to be the Broncos having, you know, not luck necessarily, but those close games go their way.
Back to the RamosLaw.com text line from the 9632. Don't forget the Bills. Again, there's another team that is up and down, that has the quarterback to be able to put his team on his back and carry it to a W, even in the playoffs, even on the road. And yet, you look at a game like last night and you go, or yesterday, I should say, and you go, man, that was uninspiring. I don't know. Could the Bills beat the Broncos in the playoffs? Yeah, I think they could. Am I inspired by the way the Bills are playing? No, I'm not. I'm not in the least, despite some of their personnel. And I will admit to you, sometimes I feel that way about the Broncos, but I also see and have seen the makeup of this team and the way this team, the intangibles, the chemistry, all of those things. I think those things matter too. And I'd put my money on a Broncos win over the Bills in the playoffs, especially here.
Yeah, and that's one of those games when you're going to be facing a quarterback that I think is pretty clearly, unless you got your blue and orange glasses on, pretty clearly better than Bo Nix. So, you know, you don't have the edge at quarterback. You probably don't have the edge offensively at that point. And, you know, who knows if Bo Nix, you know, has an egg, or the Broncos offense doesn't, you know, score those 25-plus points, that might mean you're going home. And it could be the divisional round. As soon as that, second round of the playoffs, they're going home. I think given how successful the Broncos regular season has been, I think that'd be a little disappointing, you know, way to go out.
Alan in Commerce City on the RamosLaw.com text line weighs in. I'd be lying if I said watching blowouts isn't fun, but they're playing tough and gritty old school football. And I think there's some truth to that. I do. And by the way, Dante, I know for sure this next text applies to you. Maybe it applies to me, but you are officially off the Broncos bandwagon. I just want you to know from our texter here, go back to Broncos playoff runs to Super Bowl years and look at the playoff games. Not a lot of blowouts. You're kicked off the Bronco bandwagon. I'm not gonna receive that. I'm still firmly on.
You're still on. You're
I'm
throwing
on.
me under the bus.
Yeah. Throw you under the bandwagon, leaving you in the dust as we ride off to the AFC Championship game.
And again, it's not that I don't believe in the Broncos. I think it's that I believe in the Broncos so much that I have higher expectations.
No, I higher expectations come with more wins and come with a better record.
I think they've earned higher expectations.
I think their own expectations are higher than what we believe they should be. I would, and they've talked about that all season long. Hey, there's some college games coming up this week. Now, Alex and I talked about this on Friday, but I've got to get Dante's thoughts on what he thinks about the CFP quarterfinals. We'll discuss that next.
Follow us on X at DEN Sports 1043 for up-to-the-minute information and opinions on all things Denver sports. Also, we can still call it Twitter, right? Denver Sports 1043 The Fan, DenverSports.com, and the Denver Sports app.
Hey, it's Mike Evans with Todd Whalen from Advanced Tax Solutions. Well, Todd, it couldn't last forever. The government shutdown is over. The IRS is back and ready to roll. What does that mean for folks who have an IRS bullseye painted on their back?
Well, Mike, we've seen this once before. They were completely closed during the pandemic. And what happened? They came out with their gloves on and started levying people. So now, if you have an IRS problem, it's way better if you can get a solution before you get the levy notice. You have more options, you have more time, we have the ability to do a better job. So if you're ready and it's time to get this IRS problem off your back, now's the time.
All right, Todd, I get it. The IRS is back. They mean business, but you know what? You mean business too. You've been doing this for a long time. You're ready to help folks out with all of their IRS tax issues. Give Advanced Tax Solutions a call today, 303-753-6040. That's 303-753-6040.
FIFA World Cup 2026 is coming soon, but your opportunity to be there starts now through an exclusive offer with an eligible Bank of America Visa credit card. For a limited time, become a new customized cash rewards or unlimited cash rewards Visa credit card holder, and you will be eligible for a chance to purchase FIFA World Cup 2026 tickets. Learn more at BofA.com/cardFWC26. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America NA in partnership with Visa. Terms apply. Rights reserved.
Hi, I'm Michael from the War and Treaty. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. Only Novo Nordisk makes FDA-approved Ozempic. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5 milligram, 1 milligram, and 2 milligrams.
Men, the new year is here, and if you're like many of us, you're ready to improve your health. But if you're feeling low energy, not sleeping well, or not seeing results in the gym, keeping that resolution can be tough. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and if those symptoms sound familiar, we can likely help. They often point to low testosterone, and treating low T is what we do. But this year, we're also helping men go further with 4 targeted body composition plans featuring growth hormone peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more, designed to boost energy, support metabolism, enhance recovery, and accelerate fat loss. With our low T treatments combined with our body composition programs, most men notice real improvements. More energy, better focus, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and often a renewed sex drive as well. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or visit RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Cake Mortgage Corp. Equal Housing Lender. NMLS number 1734623. Licensed in Colorado by the Division of Real Estate. Terms and conditions apply. Are your bills keeping you up at night? Imagine using your home equity for a financial reset that helps you to finally get ahead again. At Cake Mortgage, we get it. Life's expensive. Insurance, groceries, and high-interest credit card debt. That's why we created the Cake Fast Cash Home Equity Program. Turn your home into your ATM without touching your existing mortgage rate. Cake Fast Cash is fast. Many clients close in 2 weeks, so call Cake today and pay down high-interest cards, free up cash, or fund home upgrades, and you only pay for what you use. Cake Mortgage. Your fresh-baked fast cash loan is ready to enjoy. Call 720-850-0012. That's 720-850-0012. Or visit cakehome.com.
Dan Jacobs for 303 Law 4040, and I'm here with that beautiful voice you hear on the other end of the phone. Oftentimes when you call 303 Law 4040, it's my lovely wife, Kimberly. Kim, I know you and I had so much fun the other day. We actually met with a couple that had been in an accident up north in their house the other day, and Randy was so excited. He's like, I can't believe it. It's the lovely wife. She's right here in my kitchen.
He's too kind. It was really great to meet him and his wife and his pets and just be able to help them.
I think it helps that when you answer the phone, when people call 303 Law 4040, it makes things, I know calling a lawyer can be scary, but I don't know, your soothing voice just makes it a little bit easier.
Well, I just want to help. That's all. And I know how to do that.
I love the holidays. I always like to wish our listeners happy holidays. Would you like to do so as well?
Absolutely. Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful new year.
And I hope you never need us, but just in case, save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. It's 303 Law 4040. That's 303 Law 4040.
Tune in to Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth, Wednesdays at 9:15 to hear ESPN NFL analyst Dan Orlovsky break down Bo Nix and the Broncos every week during football season. Denver Sports, 104.3 The Fan, DenverSports.com, and the Denver Sports app. It's Reaction Monday, powered by Silter Har Motors. Here's Denver Sports Tonight.
Mike Rice, Dante Gomez on this Reaction Monday. Broncos had a mini bye after playing Thursday night, Christmas night, beating the Chiefs 20-13. And then when the Chargers lost to the Texans Saturday night, the Broncos clinched the AFC West. Now they will try and beat the Chargers this Sunday and clinch the top seed in the AFC playoffs. Before we get to some college football talk, we want to give you a chance to call in for the opportunity to win a pair of tickets to the Sportsman's Expo going on January 8th through 11 at the Colorado Convention Center. Second caller, 303-713-1043, 303-713-1043. Caller number 2 gets a pair of tickets to the Sportsman's Expo. That'll be January 8th through 11 at the Colorado Convention Center. 303-713-1043. All right, the college football playoffs will continue, and New Year's Eve will have one game, and then there will be 3 games on New Year's Day. On New Year's Eve, number 2 Ohio State takes on number 10 Miami, and then the 3 games, by the way, that game is the Cotton Bowl. The Sugar Bowl will feature Georgia against Ole Miss on New Year's Day. The Rose Bowl has top-seeded Indiana against number 9 Alabama. And the Orange Bowl will put number 4 Texas Tech against 5th-seeded Oregon. Remember, Texas Tech is 4, Georgia is 3, Ohio State 2, Indiana 1. So those are the 4 teams that had the bye. Oregon ripped James Madison. Alabama rallied to defeat Oklahoma. Ole Miss routed Tulane. And Miami snuck by Texas A&M in that thriller 10-3. If you like defensive football, that was your game. So the quarterfinals on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. The semis will be January 8th and 9th. The national championship is January 19th. It is worth mentioning that they've got to fix the calendar. I think most observers and followers and those who enjoy college football realize that this is not going to work when you have coaches leaving and the transfer portal opening and all of the rest. Be that as it may, that's the situation that we're in, and we've got 4 teams. As I look at the field, there are, I think, 3, well, there's more than 3. There's a bunch of teams. When you look at the 8 that are left, Dante, I was going to say there are 3 teams that have a realistic shot to win it. Then I go, wait a minute. There's a lot more than 3 out of the 8.
I think it's 5.
Okay, let's name. Indiana has a shot to win it.
I think Indiana. I think Ohio State.
Without a doubt.
I think, who's the 3 seed?
Georgia.
I think Georgia.
Yep.
And then I think Texas Tech and Oregon.
So you're giving Ole Miss no shot to win it.
To win the whole thing or to win this round?
No, to win the whole thing.
Yeah, I don't think they have the capability of winning the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean they would have to go through Georgia and potentially Ohio State just to get to the title game. They might have to beat the top 3 seeds. All right, so let's break it down a little bit. Alex and I talked about this on Friday, but I want to get your thoughts. Ohio State, Miami. Who you got?
I'm a Hurricanes guy. I've been a Hurricanes, fan.
You're not going to do this.
I'm not. I think it's
okay.
Ohio State. I think I don't know if we're jumping the gun here. I think Ohio State's going to go on and win the whole national title.
Do you?
I think they're that good, and I think that loss for them is going to kind of serve as that loss they had last year to Michigan at the end of the year, and then they just go on a tear and win it all. I just think their roster is so talented, and I think they played pretty poor in the Big Ten title game and still only lost to Indiana by 3, and they missed a clutch field goal at the end there. I think they had a chance to win that, and they didn't really play all that well in that game.
They scored 10 points.
Yeah.
So you think that was just an off game?
Yes, yeah, I think they just didn't play particularly well. I think they have a lot more left in their tank.
Ole Miss, Georgia.
I'm going to go Georgia.
Yeah, me too.
I think Georgia is also rolling. I just trust Kirby Smart in these big games. I think Kirby Smart's a top 3 head coach in college football. And obviously that matters a lot in all of football, but particularly in college football. Playing in, New Orleans in the Sugar Bowl for them too. New Orleans, right?
Yes,
That
is the Sugar Bowl. Yes.
So,
Sorry about that.
I think that's going to help. I get Ole Miss is also a Southern team there, but I think if at some point not having your head coach is going to come back to bite them.
Yeah, I like what Ole Miss has done. If Lane Kiffin were still the head coach at Ole Miss, would you still pick Georgia to beat them?
I would pick Georgia, but I'd give Ole Miss a fighting chance. I'm not going to give them as much of a fighting chance.
Yeah, I like Georgia and Ohio State in the semis as well. Other side of the bracket, Indiana, Alabama. Alabama, a little bit up and down, but they're not the caliber of Indiana. I will never predict a blowout in a playoff game just because it's really hard. And Alabama's had a good year, but I got to go with the Hoosiers there.
I'm going to give Alabama a fighting chance. I think they got a little
an upset or a fighting chance.
Fighting chance.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, if you're making me pick, I'm going to pick Alabama. We'll just go with that. That way there's no in between here.
You just did. Wow. I wasn't expecting that.
I think they're going to have a little momentum going from the second half of that Oklahoma game, going into a raucous environment in Norman. Now you get a neutral site field, in the Rose Bowl. And Alabama's been in the Rose Bowl. They went there 2 years ago, lost to Michigan, but a little bit of experience there. It's probably a whole different team at this point. But,
yeah.
Alabama is just, ready for these big games. And I think I just like Alabama a little bit more.
I think the best matchup of the quarterfinal games is the 4-5 Texas Tech versus Oregon. And who you got?
I'm going to go with I don't know. Do I have to pick?
Well, I'll pick. I'm going to go with Texas Tech. I think the rest helps. I think they're on a mission. I think they're very talented beyond all of that. I mean, they built a roster with all the money, and they've got good players. It's not just like they spent a bunch of money and didn't get any return. This is a really good team. I love what Oregon has done. They're always there. They're always a tough out. I just think Texas Tech with the rest is a little bit too good. And the fact of the matter is, Oregon has had rest too. So, the having the bye might actually serve to hurt these teams, some of them, because
we saw that last year. A lot of those teams with the bye did not play well. I think the only team that won with the bye was Texas, and they went to double overtime against a team, Arizona State, that a lot of people projected to lose by double digits. So
right.
the bye did not help teams last year.
Right. Well, and it's negated a little bit because of the time in between the first round and the quarterfinal games. I'll take Tech to win it. I'll take Tech to beat Oregon.
I like
in a
that
good
pick.
one.
I'm rooting for Tech. I think it'd be great for the Big 12 to get some representation in the semifinals. So I would like to see Tech win. I think both those teams are really good, and I'm with you on. I think it's the best game of the weekend. I think all of the matchups are really exciting. Though I think we have. Arguably, I think we have the 8 best teams in the country. I think we have the teams that are deserving to be here. So I'm excited to see this, play out. And it's not like last year where, I'm an ASU guy, but ASU probably didn't deserve to be in the Final 8. Boise State probably didn't deserve to be in the Final 8. It feels like all these teams deserve to be where they are.
And who you got between Tech and Alabama?
I'll go Tech.
Okay, so Tech versus Ohio State with the Buckeyes winning it.
Yep, that's my projected bracket.
I will go with Georgia beating Ohio State to get to the national championship game, and I will go with Indiana beating Texas Tech and Georgia beating Indiana.
Okay, Kirby Smart gets another one.
He gets another one. I just felt like it was somebody different.
Okay,
I don't know, and
somebody different. So we went with Georgia.
No, well, this year it's been Ohio State and Indiana everything.
I know.
That's a good. That's a fair shot. It's just a little more recent.
Very recent.
January 19th, though.
They got to get that earlier.
Yeah, they do. Hey, great to see you.
You as too,
Happy
Mike.
New Year.
Happy New Year to you. I think we'll be back together Friday.
We will indeed, and we will talk about those New Year's Day games and the matchup in the CFP semifinals. Happy New Year to all you guys. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening, calling, texting. Well, I guess we didn't take calls, but listening, texting, joining
Took
the
one
show.
call. Somebody won some tickets.
Oh, we got a winner on the tickets. Very nice. I love it. Going to the Sportsman's Expo. Have a great week. Happy New Year. Talk to you Friday on Denver Sports Tonight.
us on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at Denver Sports 1043 to stay up to date on all your local teams. Denver Sports 1043. The Fan.
Most resolutions fade by February, but a better metabolism, that sticks. And that's what SodaWeightLoss.com does for you. Soda retrains your body to burn fat efficiently. No drugs, no injections, no gimmicks, just real food, real coaches, and real results. Lose 60 pounds, that's what I did in just a couple of months. Naturally with Soda Weight Loss. That's SOTA weightloss.com. SOTA weightloss.com. Soda Weight Loss is, say it with me, state of the art.
This holiday season, AutoNation is unwrapping the biggest gift of all. The car you actually want with zero down and no payments for 90 days. With our coast-to-coast inventory of nearly 100,000 new and used cars, trucks, and crossovers, you'll find exactly what you're looking for. Zero down, no payments until April. That's the deal you deserve on the car you love. Hurry to your nearest AutoNation store or AutoNation.com. Limited term financing on approved credit. Interest accrues from date of purchase on deferred payments. See store for details.
The right financial strategies can make a huge difference, especially if you're nearing retirement. Adam Mueller talks retirement strategies with Mile High Money. Saturday mornings at 8 on Denver Sports 1043, The Fan.
Her face lights up whenever you're around.
That's why the diamond you give her can't be like any other.
At Williams Jewelers, exceptional brilliance is in our DNA. I'm Bruce Williams.
And I'm Steve Williams. We